Oh my god. I swear I say I told you so. No one listens to small creators. Government doesn't listen to the whole entire internet screaming no. And all these parents, all they want is a damn child to be cradled by an AI. Let me make it straight. In this video, this is exactly what happens when you put AI or ID verification on the internet. Let's get started.
Oh man, and they wonder why we don't want to give them our IDs. So there's a threat actor out there that claims to have breached Infuture, which is a leading consumer identity management and resolution company. So they literally handle IDs and ID security. They help brands identify, verify, and understand their customers in real time. Well, the breach allegedly contains 676,798,866 unique American citizens, including deceased persons, including full names, date of birth, addresses, cities, states, zip codes, phones, and social security numbers. A 15 million record sample was provided. The actor credited a social radar article for enabling access to the data. So as you can see over here, there is so much information that has been blurred. I actually do have the unblurred image, but I'm not going to show it because their information is actually there on screen. I'm actually talking about full name, social security numbers, and everything else that that tweet mentioned. So as I'm sure you guys know, there's a huge push for age verification going on in the world right now, despite the fact that a lot of these third-party vendors and ID handlers are actually having huge data leaks all around the same time. Starting off with Persona, which was temporarily Discord's third-party age verification vendor. Their information was just sitting somewhere on some sort of website or whatever, and their exposed interface was displaying a US government systems notification. They were allegedly working with ICE and sending all of your information to them so they can put people on a threat level in terms of like how risky their social media activity is. If you were speaking out about ICE a lot, you had a high risk level, and if you obviously weren't saying anything bad, you would have a low risk level. And they were allegedly looking at your social media activity, your email addresses, your freaking fingerprints, everything. And then only like 2 days later, another ID verification vendor, ID Merit, had a huge data leak as well. They had apparently about 1 billion personal records get leaked all throughout the world. I already made a video talking about this. And here's some of the numbers on the screen. There was pretty much the whole world was affected by this, where a bunch of people's personal records were just out there. They had a huge data leak, and obviously people who were providing IDs to a lot of these websites, especially ID Merit, were having all of their records just out there. Names, phone numbers, addresses, social security numbers, everything that you can think of. And this has just become like a huge thing now, where while the age verification push is going on, where the entire world is trying to get you to give them your ID so you can breathe, simultaneously we're having gigantic data leaks like this, which is really concerning. And then it just kept getting worse for Persona specifically, and people who verified their ages and identities through LinkedIn using Persona had a bunch of their information get sent elsewhere as well, to all these other different types of companies and quote trusted third-party sources or whatever the crap they were saying. So not only was your information being gathered, it was being sent to other people against your will. They didn't even tell you about it. Your data was getting leaked. It was just out there on all these different types of websites as well. It just kept getting worse and worse with Discord with their whole ID age verification thing. They recently just had an issue where Arc Raiders was able to just read all your DMs on Discord. So the reason why I'm telling you guys about all this is because look at how many of these ID verification leaks are happening as of late. And now, the one we're discussing today is really bad. Like, it's almost as bad as the ID Merit one with 1 billion personal records getting leaked. So keep in mind that this is currently alleged, but there's a lot of information and a lot of people reporting on this right now. And according to most people, it looks pretty legitimate. So there was a post that appeared on the forum breachforums.as on March 8th of 2026. According to the author, a massive data set allegedly linked to infutor.com has been leaked and shared online. The post claims that the breach contains the personal data of hundreds of millions of Americans, including both living and deceased individuals. The discovery was first flagged by the Cadoo team during routine monitoring of underground communities where tech industry leaks and compromised databases frequently circulate. If the claims are accurate, the scale of this alleged infutor data leak would make it one of the largest exposures of personal information discussed in dark web forums this year. And so the data set contains a staggering 600 million plus unique records of American citizens.
All right, I'm gonna be honest here, and I may get silenced by the government's little algorithms for this. So they don't care about protecting your kids. They don't understand that your kids are in danger. They just understand a data point. Why is this a problem? That's self-explanatory. And listen, if parents are not watching their child on the internet, parents are the problem. They are legally held responsible till that child is the age of 18 or 21 or so on. Now, with that out the way, do we need to continue using age verification AI or ID? No, we do not. We do not need that. Reason one, HoneyPot effect. This takes your data, puts it into one centralized database, and hackers are going to crawl on in, pull that stuff out, and whoopsie, I got your ID. Whoopsie. Oh, now where is that? You can't know. I just gave it to some random guy on the internet. See, this is the problem. This is the exact problem, just summed up in the most childish manner. Now, how do I feel about it? I'm against it. Personally, I'm against it. In my community, I refuse to use ID, credit card, or certain data that may be a bit sensitive to your well-being, like your right to privacy, and obviously your right to have a damn identity without it getting hacked. I mean, come on. You can't change your ID, but you can change a profile picture, you can change a username, and you can easily get rid of an email or mute people. This is exactly why I only trust emails. Email is the gold standard PII to use in signups, subscriptions, and all types of forms. Therefore, the best PII is email PII. I encourage device level parental controls, and I encourage it to be activated by the parent, not the system, by the parent. By doing so, you will be putting responsibility legally, ethically, and reasonably back into the parent's hands. If the parent fails to protect their child or is giving them this device, that's the problem. The parent had to buy the device. The parent had to supply the the software to keep the internet going to their device. They had to consciously and averagely just supply this stuff, which costs money. Yeah. Financially, these parents are unfit parents and irresponsible. They do not deserve that child if they cannot take care of them. Big take, more like reality check. But let's continue because there's more information, of course.
Citizens. So the author wrote, the breach includes 600 million unique citizen Americans, thanks to Social Radar for the article, which allowed me to download all the data. If you guys remember the Social Radar website, we've actually talked about them before because they had actually exposed that there was like an alleged Discord RCE sale going on, where another threat actor was talking about the fact that he had an alleged remote code execution that you could just download and use to hack people's information on Discord, and he was selling it for $900. This one is alleged as well, but still, I mean, Social Radar had a role in trying to actually stop the whole hacking going on Discord, but this specific threat actor is claiming that they were actually able to get all this information through Social Radar. So obviously a bunch of people are interested in this, and a bunch of cybersecurity researchers and threat intelligence teams. Large-scale data sets appearing on such forums often trigger further investigations to determine whether the data originates from a direct breach, aggregation from multiple sources, or public records compilation. So as we talked about before, this is the type of data that is allegedly included. So I'm not going to scroll down too far because in this image right over here that is under all of these examples, there is actually people's names and social security numbers and date of births or whatever. That could be all fake information, and this could just be, allegedly fake or whatever. But I don't even want to risk, putting those types of people's information on this video, so I'm just not even going to scroll down. But it is this asshole over here, Spira Gatito, who is doing this, and yeah, according to him, he just released all these people's information. Absolute scumbag. So obviously, in terms of social security numbers being involved, that's what makes this way scarier than if it was just first and last names. Your social security number being out there is one of those things that can actually have people, do identity fraud on you. They can open fraudulent financial accounts in your name. And because there's both living and deceased individuals in here, analysts believe it may include information aggregated from multiple sources over time rather than a single transactional system compromise. So if this is actually true, this would be a data set of over 600 million records being leaked. So the chances of these things happening would be extremely high to everybody on that list. Identity fraud, phishing campaigns, credential stuffing preparation, targeted social engineering, large-scale spam operations. So because the Kadu team actually found this reportedly early on, they can actually take some action about this. Some of the things that they can do is identify potential exposures quickly, investigate whether their systems were compromised, notify affected customers if necessary, and prevent further exploitation. Now, whether or not this whole information is all correct right now and all true, we don't know yet. But again, this person did seem to have a substantial amount of information. And unless they're just weird and they have too much time on their hands, I really doubt that they would create 600 million plus data records and act like there was some sort of big leak that happened. A bunch of cybersecurity experts that are way smarter than me are looking into this right now. So if you have ever done anything with Infutor, whether you work with them directly or they're some sort of third party, whatever, you should definitely make sure that you aren't a part of this leak. Definitely change your usernames and passwords on pretty much everything that you got. Just make sure that you aren't able to have your information be compromised. This is some scary, scary stuff, man. Like I said, this whole global age verification push in the world right now, they are trying to get you to send your ID over to Breathe or to use any type of website out there. And yet data leaks like this just keep happening over and over again. Like I said, like the 4 examples I showed earlier, it is a very, very scary time to be on the internet right now. And it's getting to the point where honestly, if you want to keep your information safe, don't do any type of ID verification. Don't do any type of AI facial scan. I don't care if you want to play Roblox. I don't care if you want to use Discord and look at images that are censored or whatever. It's too risky at this point. Like, your information could just end up being out there. It is not worth sending any of these companies your IDs or AI facial scans. You are just putting yourself at risk of a massive data leak. Like I said, 600 million. This would be one of the biggest data leaks of all time if this is true. Good luck to everybody out there. Let's try to stop this whole freaking global push of ID age verification contact your local representatives, try to get people to talk about this. And the more we spread the word about this type of stuff, the better. Like I said, if you've had anything to do with Infuter, make sure you guys look into this and make sure you're not involved. Like I said, I'm just gonna go ahead and scroll past that image real quick. There are actual names and social security numbers and stuff. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the situation in the comments. It seems like there has been another gigantic ID verification data leak.
Listen, before this video ends, I would like to just ask you to please subscribe. It's free and you can always change your mind. However, I ask you to stay safe, stay vigilant, and stay cool. And before joining the community or actually interacting with this community, please actually know the rules because you'll only get banned. And to make it clear, no more age verification with these IDs and facial scans. This is what I have to do. I use facial scans because I don't own an ID myself. I don't have one because, well, while I'm 18, I don't get the time to go out there or make a freaking deal to come back this time, that time. I need things now, then, and there, not when someone else's schedule is free. And that's kind of the problem. Other than that, that's really all for today's video. Just stay safe, guys. Stay safe.